Greetings, students. This is the third set of notes in the ES1 unit, Lab Safety and the Scientific Method. Things you already know about, I hope. As always, my notes are available on my website, btracey.home.blog. And in this slideshow, you're going to be writing down everything in orange text. And at any time that you find yourself falling behind, you can always pause the video and catch up. So the title of these notes is Lab Safety and the Scientific Method. You only need to write down the orange text, and since it's the title, you can write it a little larger at the top of the page. So we're going to go through some general safety rules. We are not physically meeting in the lab at this time, but that's okay. It's important to know this stuff anyway if we come back in the spring or for next year. So number 1. Read instructions before attempting to do anything. Number 2. When instructed to wear gloves or goggles, do so. Number 3. Notify your teacher if any spills or accidents occur. Number 4. No food or drink in the lab, no chewing gum. Number 5. Keep your work area uncluttered. Number 6. Know where to locate the fire extinguisher. At Binford, it's right outside my room. Number 7, never put anything into your mouth during a lab experiment. Number 8, clean up after yourself. Number 9, no running, horseplay, or practical jokes in the laboratory. Number 10, broken glassware can rip a trash bag, so don't dispose of it in the normal classroom trash can. Tell a teacher and get special instructions. Number 11, when disposing of chemicals, follow my instructions. Number 12, wash your hands after handling any chemicals. So that's it for lab safety. The rest of this slideshow is devoted to the scientific method, which you should have been learning about for many years. You will see slightly different versions of the scientific method or different wordings of the scientific method. This is my version, but for the most part, it's the same as everybody's. State the problem or ask a question, make observations and conduct background research, formulate a hypothesis, conduct your experiment, analyze your data and summarize the results, draw a conclusion, and then, importantly, communicate those results with the world. No reason to keep it to yourself. So some science vocabulary that you ought to know. Variables are things in an experiment that change. The independent variable is the factor that is intentionally varied by the experimenter. The IV is the variable I change. It's also called the manipulated variable. The dependent variable is a factor that may change in response to that independent variable, also called the responding variable. When you make a graph of your experimental results, the x-axis is always the independent variable, the y-axis is the dependent variable. Control group, that's the standard of comparison. It could be a no treatment group or an experimenter selected group. It ought to be the group that is most under natural conditions. So if you were doing an experiment where you were testing different liquids out on how plants respond in their growth, for example, the control group would be the one that just got water. Trials. Trials are replicated groups exposed to the same conditions. The more repeated trials you include, the more reliable or valid your results become. The more the better. A lot of times in school you hear 3 repeated trials. That's a minimum. The more times you can repeat, the better. Okay, we're squeezing in a little odds and ends here. Mass, volume, and density. Mass is how much a matter an object contains. Volume is how much space it takes up. Density equals mass divided by volume, or D equals M over V. You need to know that equation. Another thing you need to know about is finding volume by displacement. Now, finding the volume of a cube, or like a rectangular solid, would be length times width times height. And you can do it that way, but when your solid is a funny shape, it's hard to do length times width times height. If you submerge it, your object that you're trying to find the volume in a known quantity of water, such as this diver being in the graduated cylinder, it's got 3.4 grams, or sorry, 3.4 milliliters to begin with, and then you add the diver and it goes up to 5. So in order to find the volume of the diver, you subtract the new volume minus the old volume. So 5 minus 3.4 would give you your answer for the volume of the diver, because he made it go up that much. That's called volume by water displacement. So I don't think you had to write anything down about that, but you should know about it. Here is my slide with everything written down that you needed to write down from this slideshow, all in one place. This is one way that your notebook page could look in your digital science notebook. Or if you prefer to handwrite, you can handwrite it and then snap a photo and put the photo in your slideshow. And that's it. Have a great day.